Hey, how's it going, everybody? My name is Freebeat, and this is Sample Something. I failed in the pit. Don't push me backwards. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Season 1, Episode 3 of Sample Something. We are here just outside of Green River, Utah, at the world's most beautiful rest stop, I think. Also, maybe the windiest and world's most coldest rest stop. Maybe I'll put the camera audio in so you can hear Lady Freebeat shivering. You can probably hear the wind on this microphone, too. Look at this. Today we are on our way to our next final destination for the trip, our furthest point away from home, Lady Freebeat's family's house in New Mexico. I'm going to say New Mexico again just in case the wind canceled that out. It is currently 6:56 a.m. We just had to stop at this rest stop. Should we find something to sample?
Oh my god.
You okay? It's really freaking cold, everybody. Your eyes are watering. This rest stop is so cool. So that's the freeway down there. That's the I-70 East, and we're going that way. And there's like this huge drop off here. So cool. So cool. Let's find something to sample and get back in the car. Oh, there was lightning.
Oh, there was a lightning strike behind you while you were talking.
Oh, sweet. Yeah. Did I look cool?
Yeah.
Nice. Okay, so we found this little, I don't know what it is. It's at a table at the rest stop barbecue, and there was a rock on it. Now, I know we've done a lot of sampling of rocks and things hitting other things, but I'm a drummer, so that's what we're going to do again. Gonna try one with my fist here. Okay, that'll work. Then we're gonna try this rock and wake everybody that's camping here up. Okay, we got it. Let's go. All right, here we are back in the studio at the SmplTrek, and we've got a couple of samples to play with. So we've got two. We've got my fist or hand, I can't remember which it was, on the weird metal thing at that rest stop. And that sounds like this. Okay, and then we have the sample that I'm actually excited to use, which is the rock dropped on it, which is a whole heck of a lot louder. You can tell it actually distorts in there, so we may be able to take advantage of that. So what I think I want to do is actually load that into slot 3, which we haven't used for some reason. And we're actually going to load this in as an instrument track, which means we can play it chromatically on the keyboard. Now that sounds pretty bad in my opinion. I don't know how well it's going to go with our song. Let's find out here. Let's go into the track and move to our release settings here. There we go. Let's try it against our melody here. Okay, so it's clearly a little bit out of tune and just doesn't sound that pleasant. Now, I mentioned in the previous episode that the SmplTrek isn't super well equipped for turning samples into super usable instruments. However, we can certainly give it a shot here. So I'm going to go to the position settings for this sample. and I'm going to turn on loop. That is going to create an endless loop between points A and B. So, as we adjust those, we get something that more closely resembles a synthesizer. In fact, if you remember back to episode 1, that's where we got the original melodic sample. Let's give this a shot now. You know, I'm going to move around in the octave here and maybe treat it more of like a bass. Can we go down an octave? How does that sound? Ah, that's kind of interesting. Okay, not great. However, I really do like the G, B, A at that little turnaround part instead of G, F sharp, E like the melody does. So while this might not be the sound we wind up using for our bass, in fact, I guarantee you it won't be, I'm still glad we played with it because I was able to figure that out. Yeah. That's definitely not awful. Yeah, whatever we wind up using, I think, in the bass will work really, really well there. Let's just try this up an octave, though, real quick. Very similar to the other sound, actually, isn't it? Yeah, very, very similar. SmplTrek is unfortunately, I think, pretty limited when it comes to true sound design. I think you're more meant to sample finished sounds into there and then use those. But since when have I ever followed intended uses for really any piece of gear on this channel? I quite like what we've done percussion-wise on the SmplTrek here. And even though I suspect we will also probably use a proper drum kit, all of these little percussive sounds in here are going to add quite a bit to the finished track, I'm sure of it. All right, time to head back to the road. Well, here we are at Arches National Park in Moab, Utah, and the plan was to drive through the park and take a look at all of the natural beauty. And there's plenty of natural beauty just right here in this little 10-minute parking pullout area on the road to the park. However, we found out that they require timed reservations rather than you can't just drive up and pay and go into the national park. And with very poor cell phone service, we attempted to get reservations, but no, you have to book at least next day. And yeah, that was not really made clear to us until now, which is probably our fault. But yeah, I guess we're just pressing onward. So yet another bummer. On the road, but that's okay. We're gonna roll with it. It's very, very pretty out here. You can take a look there. Yeah, but anyway, onward. Next stop, I think, is Colorado for a little bit, for like 100 miles or so. Yeah, let's go.
Is it closed?
Oh, it opens at 9.
Oh.
Oh, man. We cannot catch a break. Damn it. Can't even see the hole. Oh well, we got that picture. So when we last checked in with you, it was about, I think, 7:30 a.m. It is now 1:37 p.m. and we have not stopped driving since then. There have not really been any like convenient places to pull off. The road that, or the route that Google has had us take has been very interesting. There's been some beautiful vistas, but not really anywhere to pull off and sample anything, or sample something, I guess I should say. And we are quickly approaching our destination, Lady Freebeat's family's house. We're about 100 miles away or so. So we are ending really the first leg of this trip. So I figure, that was a rough patch of road there. As I was saying before I was so rudely interrupted by that patch of rough road, which kept going for a while, by the way, I figure we'll head back into the studio. So here we are. But we're not going to be using the samples for this portion of our studio time. What I want to do is actually pull up a couple sounds that I already have on the SmplTrek, a little more proper synth sounds, and start working on the actual melody and structure of the song. That way, when it's time to integrate the samples, it'll be a lot easier to do so. So I've actually got a blank project pulled up here. Let's go into an instrument track. Let's load one up, and we will go grab a sample. I'm going to use this sample called Bass Bounce. It's from, I believe, Vital Synth, which is a free VST that I actually use all the time. It's a great sounding synth, and you can make some really cool stuff with it. And I do believe that the root note right now is an E, so we need to make it a C. So I can just adjust that right here. There we go, that sounds like a C. Cool. Now let's go to another instrument track. We'll load one in. And for that sample, I'm going to grab Sun Keys, which is also an E and is also a preset. Or maybe it's from a synthwave expansion, I can't remember, but for a Vital Synth. And since that's also an E, I am going to, once again, set it there. And since we're already here, we can go to the envelope setting this way. And that's what that sounds like, with a bit of release on there. Also, let's grab a drum kit. We'll just get this house kit. So we already do have our melody, which, if you remember, is something like this. So keeping that in mind, I'm going to turn on my metronome here. Get it fast enough. That sounds good. Let's start with a bass line, and let's actually change our amount of steps here too. So I'm going to go ahead and change the length of my notes here to an eighth note, and that's because that's all we really need for the bass line, I think. Just our tempo's right here, so dun 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 dun. Those are eighth notes. That should be plenty. I think, if I remember, it's 80 is the proper length. Let's give it a shot. I'm just going to make up a little bass line in my head here, and then try to play it. Yeah, that works. There we go. Ideally, I'd like to have a sample that's a bit longer there, so I could go dur, 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 and like stretch it out. But for now, those repeated eighth notes will work just fine. Cool, so now we've got a very basic bass line. Let's go ahead and get some drums in here. I am also going to set this length or note value to 1/8 and set the length to 80. You'll notice in that bass line I put some hits in there. Like right there. I don't know, I was kind of singing that melody in my head, that da 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 da. And those bass hits just felt right, so I'm going to try to match those in the drums. Let's see here. Closed hat, open hat, kick drum, and 3 snares to work with. Cool. And some cymbals. Okay, I'm just gonna give it a shot. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, that kind of worked. I forgot I was quantized at 1/8 notes, so I couldn't put in the tat-tat-tat. I couldn't put that little thing in there. But that's okay. Let's go ahead and go to the last measure, though, because I think there's a snare drum in here that shouldn't be. Yeah, this one right here. Let's go ahead and take that out. Great, I think we should be able to play our melody in here now, so let's go for it. 1, 2, 3, 4. Nice. Let's go ahead and set our length and note settings first. 1/8 notes and 80 steps. There we go. Now we'll go for it. 1, 2, 3, 4. Cool. Do I want to add to this? I kind of think I do. Let's actually pull in another instrument track. Whoop, not drum track. And we'll go and grab the sun keys again. I'm going to set those to an E. Now maybe we can play some chords. That could be cool. So just the release. Let's give it a shot. 1, 2, 3, 4. Cool, I think that recorded in pretty well. Let's take the click out, and I want to go into the mixer. Actually, no, I want to go into the drum kit, and I want to... What was the snare drum we used most of the time? Because it's really quiet, isn't it? Let's see if we can get some note velocities going on here. Some improvements. Maybe I'll double the snare drum. There we go. Yeah. That's cool. Let's go back into the chords that we played, though, and I think I want to bring the envelope, the release, down a little bit. Or maybe I just want to bring the track down in the mixer. Huh. Yeah. That's not too bad. And of course, remember, we are just working on the shell of the song right now. We haven't begun to integrate any of our samples, but I'm quite liking how this is turning out, and I think integrating the samples is really going to elevate this. I think there's going to be a ton we can do, especially in the percussion department, which of course is exciting to me because I'm a drummer. So I'm going to have a little jam around this, and I think we'll head back to the car to wrap things up. But first, I'll show you a whole bunch of footage because the drive for this last 100 miles or so was absolutely gorgeous. also don't think I mentioned it, but we are in New Mexico right now. We passed through Colorado as well, but yes, we are in New Mexico. Can the camera pick that up? That huge mountain? That's super cool.
Oh yeah.
Nice. As I said before we jumped back to the studio, we are quickly approaching our final destination for this leg of the trip. So it seems like a great place to wrap up episode 3 of the first season of Sample Something. So I do want to thank you all for watching. Hopefully you're enjoying it. Like I said a couple episodes ago, this is the very first season, so I'm sure there's going to be some rough spots. In fact, I know there's some rough spots. And you know, it's only going to get better from here as we figure out how to kind of clean things up and whatnot. There is someone on the road. Let's get over here. If you did like this episode of Sample Something, be sure to leave a like on it. If not, you know where the thumbs down button is. That's always okay too. Doesn't hurt my feelings. Just makes me try that much harder next time. If you want to support the show, a great way to do that is on the Freebeat Patreon page, which you will find linked in the description. There you can get access to all the samples from this season as well as future seasons of Sample Something. You get access to our patron-only Discord server, as well as weekly behind-the-scenes vlogs and other bonus content. Again, I do thank you so very much for watching. We'll see you next time on Sample Something. Bye.